Like some people would say I ruined it, but I would say I rescued some albums from the thrift store and made them into art. Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Lacey and I use weekly themes to give myself parameters so that I actually use the supplies that I own. And this week is vinyl week.
I'm sharing 2 ways that I upcycled old records with paint.
You can find examples of people painting on records, but you can see that obviously it has grooves and it's very slippery and shiny. Just on its own, it's not the most conducive surface to painting on. So I started with applying a gel medium, basically like I was frosting a cake. I used clear gel medium, a really heavy body clear gel medium, and I used an iridescent medium. Spread that out, let that dry. Beginner friendly, all you need is an old record, various acrylic paints, and a protected surface because it does get messy. And you're gonna want a Lazy Susan or something that spins loud. And you're gonna want to tape it down because it wants to move around. Yeah, Lazy Susans. I found mine at the thrift store. I don't remember if I actually bought it for use in the kitchen, but like so many things, I find that they have a use in the kitchen and they also have a use in artwork. Just ask my crock pot that's covered in wax.
I waited for the first layer to dry completely, and then I applied another layer of heavy gel medium. This is just like a clear coat. It makes everything shiny and even.
Let it dry, and the next day went back with some markers and some fine line paint. These are going to be easy to hang on the wall now because you can they still have a hole. You just push pin right through the center or a small nail. It's one of those things that's just fun to do because it's fun to make a mess with paint. I started thinking about things that are round, and that led me to some Pennsylvania Dutch folk art. You can see the train of thought. You can see circle, how can I hang it? What can you put on it? Hex signs. I do have this book, and that's the history of hex signs, barn signs. They're kind of called hex signs kind of anecdotally because the person that was asking about them, no one would talk to him, and he thought that that meant that there was something about them. But they do have meanings and symbols. I started thinking about distal finks because I love birds. But I didn't want to do anything symmetrical. So today's inspiration, my inspiration is the double Trinity tulip. So a more intermediate project. Because I am a quilter as well as a painter, I do like to use my quilting tools in ways that can help me in other mediums. So I use quilting rollers.
But we're not measuring. You can use whatever straight edge you have. One quilting tool that's not necessary but was nice to have was this 12-inch rotating cutting mat because I followed the 45-degree lines and the 90-degree lines to lay out where I wanted the flowers to go and all the parts of the rosette. Math is not my strength, so I didn't do any math with this. All I did was use the lines on the cutting mat to help divide up the circle. So first into half, and then a quarter, and then again, and then again. What I did was sketch out the rosette so that it fits in the center over where the piece of paper in the center of the record is. And then from in between each of the pieces of the petals, I guess, of the rosette, I drew a line, and that was going to be where the tulip went. And I did not stress over these tulips. I looked at the picture, said, okay, they're basically a center, 2 sides, and then 2 connecting diamond shapes.
You can tell it's done by hand, and that's not a detriment to the quality of it.
I'm left-handed. My biggest concern was smudging that paint marker where it wasn't supposed to go. I was trying to be pretty strategic and move along the circle and not smudge that marker.
And I can't resist metallics, but I'm just really proud of myself because look at this limited palette that I kept. I really debated putting more into it, but kept it simple. And it's got kind of like, holiday winter vibes. The years hasn't been the same since Guy Lombardo died. I just watched it on, we're going into Christmas. I just watched While You Were Sleeping on Saturday. So I bought that record. anytime you turn something that was just sitting there sad into something that has a new life, I think that's a good thing. So if you're a vinyl collector and you're offended, I apologize to Bennett Roy and his orchestra.